Mic check. Good. Thank you, Jeremy, for the awesome intro. Thank you, everyone, for having me. My name is Jason Wong, and I started multiple viral products with very little money. So today, I want to give you like a little blueprint of how I did it so you can go home, take some action, and make your own viral products. So with a raise of hand, can you give me how many times you try to start your own products? Like any products, maybe try to sell something on e-com that wasn't just drop shipping, like you try to make something. A handful of people. One of the biggest difficulties of making your own products is the cost and time. People just don't have the money for R&D. People don't have money for testing things for 6 to 12 months. But I figured out a way that I can dry test a lot of products without spending thousands of dollars on it. And today, my presentation is simply like a blueprint of how I did it. I want to give a quote from Martin Luther King, which is take the first step in faith. You don't have to see this whole staircase, you just take the first step. And that's one of the philosophy that I follow when I make my own products. Like how can I kind of see the whole business model? How can I see the 5-year revenue or projection of my product without actually making anything? Just by testing different things, testing things on different audience, testing things on platforms. So this is how people usually make an MVP. Not by making the first wheel or 2 wheels, but they make something that moves and something with a handlebar that moves, and a bike that moves, and maybe something fancier. They put like a platform on it, and you can actually sit in it, put AC in it. That's how MVPs are usually made, and that's how you should make your physical products. You should always make the initial minimal viable product, which is something that just barely works. So if you're to make a fidget spinner, you want to make something that spins, and you want to add colors to it. You want to add LEDs to it, and at the final form, you put a packaging on it, and that's your final product. But a lot of people try to make their own products and they want to launch it in the first iteration, and that's where they fail. Because when they try to launch the first iterations, oftentimes people just aren't responding to it positively, and they're not taking proper feedbacks from the customers. So the way that the Lean Startup model works, has anyone read the book, The Lean Startup? So the way that the Lean Startup works is that you want to keep testing MVPs until you get the final product, rather than launching the first product and hope that it succeeds. And that's the model that I do. So there's 4 steps to test your products that I'll be going over today. First is determine your target audience. When you launch a product, you want to talk about where your audience are usually on. So let's just say you would start a blender bottle. You want to start focusing on a fitness niche. Where do you go? Instagram, because Instagram has a lot of fitness influencers that you can go on. And there's 2 ways for you to get your audience. One, you can spend a lot of money and start growing your own fitness account, posting workout videos, workout motivation videos, or you can go find people that established that already. So has anyone seen Fashion Nova? Anyone knows how much money they spend on marketing?
A lot.
Jeremy knows because he's one of our close friends that do marketing. Fashion Nova spends tens of millions of dollars and even more on just Instagram marketing every single year. But none of us here have tens of millions of dollars, probably like 1 or 2 people downstairs. So instead of doing that, you can go to people that have established social media presence, like Fitness Girls Motivation, and go to them and buy ad spots on it. So instead of spending tens of millions of dollars and build your Instagram page, you can actually just find influencers that are within your niche to promote your products. So with that kind of account, you can promote bikinis, you can promote fitness courses, you can promote blender bottles, water bottles, whatever you want, without spending millions of dollars building your own presence. So understand the market demand. Anyone play Fortnite here? So a friend of mine started a controller store doing Fortnite mobile games, and that's because he saw there's a market demand for Fortnite players. Fortnite was such a popular game, they're doing $1 million a day. Anyone here make $1 million a day? If you do, let me know. Fortnite is so big that there's so many kids playing, and there's such a large market demand that my friend just started a controller store, and they're doing 5-6 figures a day just selling controllers. And these controllers aren't a new concept. These are Xbox controller repurposed to be adaptable to mobile. So as long as you see a market demand and you feel like there's a product fit for it, just go for it. Make the first MVP, make the second MVP, and so on. Condense the product cycle. So when I say that people have struggles with making products, is that they usually take 6 to 12 months to bring to market. The way that you condense product cycle is by testing things on an earlier scale, by testing different audiences and different creatives, but you also need to negotiate with your supplier and understand what is the production time for making each product. So I just want to use fidget spinners as another example because that's the most known product. Making that fidget spinner has 5 components. There's a bearing, there's a ring that houses a bearing, there's a plastic case, and there's a centerpiece that holds the entire fidget spinner and the packaging. When you condense a product cycle, you want to understand how long it takes to make each of the component and how long it takes to piece everything together. So once you have all the math down, you're able to calculate where can you cut the time to make each piece and how can you cut the time to make the whole product. Find a supplier. Anyone use Alibaba here to buy fake stuff? Alibaba is one of the biggest suppliers for drop shipping, and that's the place where you can find all the stuff to sell basically anything. So the way that I find suppliers for a custom item is that sometimes they just don't make what you're trying to make, but you can find the closest thing. So if you're trying to make a blender bottle that blends with a button, you can find a bottle supplier that also has some sort of mechanic components of it, so maybe they can customize their technology to fit your needs. So always find the supplier that resembles the closest to what you're trying to make. And test your MVP with your audience. I made these condoms that looks like ramen noodle packaging. I actually never had a single box of it. I only have one single box. And I got that box, took a picture, and put it on Twitter, and got the reaction. So based on the reaction of the customers, I'm able to understand what are they looking for? Are they laughing at it? Are they being entertained? Is there a demand for it? And after I understand these data and get the initial reaction, which is like emotional reaction for it, I can understand where should I go about improving it, or if I should even bring it to market.
Should you go after the reaction first before the product?
Yeah, just run it, yeah. So case study, I'm just gonna use my own products as a case study because I know the most about it. I made the Holy Meme Bible. Anyone heard of it before? It's a coloring book for memes. So every single year I launch a coloring book, 60, 70 pages, and like it does like where's Waldo, word search. There's like a Mad Lib of Trump quotes, color in the dots, connect the dots, word search of internet memes. So I first, this is how it looks like. I first got the idea because I saw that there's a demand for coloring books in the adult world, and I was like, oh, okay, I like memes, I'll just put the two and two together. So you see that there's an existing market demand for adult coloring books. And I was like, yeah, I love memes a lot. I like to consume it. I know my friends would love something if I put together a coloring book for memes. So that's where I made the product. Building an MVP, these are actually like A4 papers that I got from Staples, and I just cut into rectangular shape. That's how I made the first meme Bible. I print it onto a sheet of paper and kind of get the proof of concept, like how big should the book be, how thin, how thick should the paper I use, what the paper material I should use for the front cover. So building an MVP means this takes me 60 cents and maybe like a days of design work. Create digital mock-up. So now it looks a little bit better than like, what I just printed on an A4 paper. This is a free mock-up. I illegally downloaded it. But if you know Photoshop, you can actually create digital mock-up within 5 minutes. You just have to edit content and put like the design on it. Because a lot of people make like pre-existing templates for these books, and all you have to do is put your design on it, and it looks like an actual book. And when you sell and you try to run your MVP on social media, that's what you try to promote. Oh, that's another slide. And then test the MVP with social media posts. So one of the biggest and fastest way to test a product is to make a viral story about it. So make a fake story, fake news, whatever. This girl, I found her off Tinder, took her profile, took her name, and it's made a Twitter profile with it. It's really unethical, so I don't like promote it, but like that's how I did it. But like if you see like I made a viral story, like not viral story, but like a very brief story on Twitter because all the contents are condensed there. So I just say, oh, this is the best gift that girl could have gotten. I got that book as an MVP. I only had 3 of those books at the time, and I only used them for photography. So I make these posts and see the kind of reaction that I got. All that social feedback means that I should move forward with it and I should start selling it. And because I had such a condensed production cycle, I knew that I can bring it to market within 3 weeks. And within 3 weeks, we did 6 figures in 5 days. Create a landing page for products, so easily, I'm not gonna go over how to set up a Shopify page, but one of the things I also did for my site is that I add in bonuses. So for 50 cents extra, you can put a vegan sticker on your book. Or for 50 cents extra, you can make your book gluten-free, and all it does is put a sticker on your book that says vegan or gluten-free. And that's 50 cents extra profit. I think we make 10 grand off just stickers. But people will pay for it. Like, you have to understand who your audience is, and sometimes your audience will literally pay money just for entertainment value. And for 15 cents extra, they can show their friends that they bought a vegan coloring book, and you make 15 cents extra, right? Also allow people to add guac to their order for $2 extra. All it really is an 8-inch sticker of an avocado. And that's how you add $2 more to your profit margin, just by selling dumb shit. So through that, we got profiled by a Shopify blog. It was one of the fastest growing Shopify page from 0 to 100. And all that took me maybe $488 in just testing. With $488, I sold to 200K in 3 weeks without having a single book in my hand. And 3 weeks later, I started delivering the books. But like, you know, that's better than some drop shipping numbers. You have to understand, as drop shippers, like whoever you are, it takes 22 days to bring your stuff to the US. So like, it's not even that bad. 3 weeks, it's cool. So here's how I market it. So create stories about your products with viral factors. So like, always make up stories. Nothing on the internet is real. A lot of stuff are made up. You have to understand that a lot of marketing campaigns are actually just fake. Some of them are sponsored by Coke. Some of them are sponsored by Pepsi. Remember like when they did like Uncle Drew basketball story? Like that was viral. That went viral, and that was a sponsored content. A lot of stuff on the internet are fake. You just have to trust it. Not trust it. You just have to trust the process. But believe that a lot of stuff are fake. So make up stories about your product. Maybe put it in a different scenario. Like, oh, my dad just got me this Splenda bottle. My brother's been playing this fidget spinners for like the past 2 weeks and he won't stop. Just make up stories and start pushing it. And so I made up dumb shit like this too, like make like a long story. But it worked. I made up a story about a girl that like received a meme Bible in her class because she keep asking a guy to like give her memes. I think that ad alone made us maybe like 6 and 7K in one
So
day.
did you like write this on your desk and like then you like,
yeah,
take a photo
like
of it?
I got people to like go to school. Like I have like friends that are still in college, so I was, hey, can you like post in front of your desk? But it works. It works. Use influencer within your particular niche. Went over that. So like whatever you're selling, try to think of like who your audience are following on social media. So if you're selling T-shirts or lifestyle brands, streetwear, who are they following? What are the hype beasts they're following? Fitness, fitness models, all that stuff. Just figure out what influencer you're trying to target, and figure out what audience they have. Every person on your social media is your billboard. Like every single one of you, whatever you post, something on a restaurant, you tag them. You post about your cars. You post about your watches. You're the billboard. You're just doing advertising for them. So you have to think about your customer that way too. They are your billboard. So how do we make them share your content for free? There's 2 reasons why people post things on social media. 2 incentives. 1, free stuff. Anyone seen a Sunny Co stuff? Yeah. They gained 800K followers in a week, and then they got deleted. But obviously not the best way, but that is a very fast way to grow stuff. And another way is that you want to give them aesthetic pictures to post. Make your things look nice, and people will post about it. Give people a good experience. Like the Apple box experience when you open the Apple iPhone and you just feel like good. Give your customer a good experience. Like don't sell dumb stuff from AliExpress all the time. Like give them a good experience. So one of the examples like ice cream. Like this ice cream store started posting aesthetic pictures on their social media account, and people will go to their store just to take the same type of pictures that they're posting because they want the same nice pictures on their social media feed. People on social media are sheeps. They want to follow what other people are doing. Take advantage of that. Foss bottles, remember like Foss bottle when they were like really big in like 2013? They did the same thing. Just follow them. It still works 5 years later. And create entertaining content for like word of mouth sharing. So like we make funny stuff so people buy our stuff and they can make their own viral stories because they want to be funny in their own regards. People want brownie points. You just gotta give them the content to make stuff that earns them brownie points. So we made up another story about like a guy. It's actually a mutual friend, just taking pictures of him using our stuff and making a fake story about it. And people went on our site just to buy it, just so they can get their friends to try it and take pictures of their friends and post about it. It just works. And then use existing social media content to pitch to the press. So one way that we did was we got on BuzzFeed, and that one single BuzzFeed article made us 10K. But we didn't pay for it. We actually never pay for any PR. If you have good numbers and a good media angle, you can pitch to journalists if you have an interesting story. Because a lot of journalists are just looking for content to post, and if you're able to give them a good angle in your headline, you tell them what you're trying to pitch, basically write their headline for them. If you're like, one of our headline was like, oh, this 20-year-old or this 19-year-old made 6 figures in 3 weeks. Give them this angle. This is the title that you want to put in your email, and they'll write about you. That's it. Any questions? All right, what's up?
Hey, so everybody, we'll do about 5 questions for this. If you guys want to raise your hands up high.
At what point in the process are you plugging in the link for people to purchase? Because I mean, if people are sharing the content, I know some people will get the content to go viral, and then you're plugging the link somewhere else. Like, where are you plugging that in? Are you just getting them to share it so that they go back to like that original profile for purchase, or like where do you get the link in there for people to buy the product?
So there's actually two ways we did about it. The first time, there's actually a little hack. So we posted our stuff on Product Hunt. You guys know what Product Hunt is? It's like a page where all new products gets posted. We posted a link on Product Hunt, and then we ran Instagram ads without any links. So when people Google our stuff, they see our listing on Product Hunt, and that helped our SEO in the initial few days. Because when you first start a store, your SEO is terrible. You're not gonna show up on the first page. But if you like piggyback off like an established brand, like a Product Hunt or like Facebook or Twitter, you're able to show up on the first page without even really being on the first page. So we did that for a few days. And then like afterwards on Twitter, we started putting links to it. But I think like 80% of our ads are non-linked, just because our stuff is so brandable that whenever you Google it, there's nothing else that will show up besides our stuff. So like, it really depends. Like, if you have a name that's really easily replicable, or like other people have the name already, then maybe put links. But for the most time, we just we actually let the site be live, and we let people Google it. And that actually helped our SEO a lot. Next.
Where do you get your inspiration from when it comes to getting new ideas?
Right. So a lot of people, when they do like dropshipping, they go like Amazon wishlist, or like they go on like Google Trends. For me, it's really about scrolling through social media. So for the ramen noodle condoms, I actually saw a meme about. Have you guys seen that meme where they had like a ramen noodle season packing corner, and they're like, oh, my girlfriend just found this seasoning packet in my wallet, and she thinks I'm cheating on her. And I was like, oh wait, I can actually make an actual condom that looks like seasoning packets. So I did that. For the coloring books, always like looking at like market demand, see like how can you plug what you are interested in and what you're passionate about into that concept. So like the coloring book, I saw like people were doing coloring books already, so I put in memes into coloring books. I also have a candle line, a line of candle that's just like sad candles, and the scents are like the scent of disappointing your parents, or like, and I have another scent that's called like the smell of your bed sheets when you cry yourself to sleep at night. So like a lot of these like edgy stuff, like the candles are a template, right? You can literally just source candles with blank boxes. You just have to put your words on it, and that's another line. That's an easy six-figure product line already. So it's always like looking at what's trending and see if you can plug what you think is funny or what you think will work into that concept. Like, don't reinvent the wheel. Yeah, hope that helps.
Epic. Who's got another?
How do you get someone to produce such a product for you, like a production person, the person that makes it? You know, who's gonna make that? Like, how do you even find them?
Right, so that goes back to the other talking points, that when you look for suppliers that make a product that's most similar to what you're doing already. So we went to a condom supplier that makes actual condoms for like actual brands, and we're like, hey, can we change the design and put our design on it? Because you have to think about it, a lot of the products are just the same fundamentally. Condoms are condoms. You're not gonna make a weird shaped condoms because it's just not gonna work. But you can change the package design of it, right? Right? At the end of the day, the box is still a box, the condom is still a condom, and the wrapper is still the same. You just have to change the design of it. So that's how we were able to find it. And like Chinese people, they don't know what we're doing. They like to get paid.
Zan, right?
Well, I just wanted to answer your question real quick. This is for everyone else who wants to make their own product. When you go source a supplier off Alibaba, you ask them if they can do ODM, which is original design manufacturing, and that means they can tweak the product for them.
Nice. Who's got another question? Anybody?
Thank you again, Jason. So how do you start a Twitter account with like, you know, some random like Tinder profile and get the organic viewership that you've gotten?
Right, it's actually not organic viewership. We start buying ads bots on Twitter after we make those profiles. So those profiles obviously have fake followers or no followers at all. We go to Twitter influencer and get them to retweet it to their network. So obviously at that stage, we're spending money already, maybe like $100, $200. But just to test, like one retweet probably costs you like $100. Depends on how big of an audience you want and what niche they are. Yeah.
How do you go about getting those retweets from those people?
I would plug my agency. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna plug it. But like usually, if you look through like influencer marketing, there's people that have access to these type of network. Yeah.
You have a ton of native pages, right? Like
I don't own any pages actually. Yeah.
Massive network. All right. Anybody else got a question?
One more.
Brett, good.
So I thought it was really genius what you did with the coloring books. So question for you about that. Did you do print on demand or did you pre-sell?
Pre-sale. We pre-sell. Yeah.
And then you put in like a 3-week
yeah,
lead time?
because we condense this product cycle so much that I know exactly how much time it would take to make and how much time it would take to ship. that I can pre-sell for 7 days and promise the customers that it will arrive in 22 days or 20 days. And within those few days, I know that it will get here and I can ship it on time. So you have to like tell them that it is on pre-sale mode. You're not gonna tell someone that you can actually deliver it like the next day. That's obviously a scam and we don't do that here. Yeah. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jason Wong.